Hello, my Wolfie Gang. I'm so sorry for not making a video when I said I was going to. I got extremely busy, and so I didn't get a chance to. But now I am back, and I will be reading the second chapter of the Edgeworld Toward X Reader Lemon. Alright, let's just jump right into it. You got up from bed and stretched while yawning. It was a beautiful morning. The sun was shining through your window, and the warmth coming from there was comforting. You got up lazily and covered the window with the curtain. You still didn't have a job, so you don't have to wake up early. Actually, you don't even need a job. Your mom pays you weekly. Your parents are rich, so there's no need to go through all the hassle of earning money. You put on your slippers and walk downstairs to make some coffee. You spit it out in disgust. Why did you do that? You don't like coffee. Well, not pure black coffee, at least. You pour out the coffee into the sink and get some orange juice instead. Then make some bacon and eggs. This is a classic breakfast. Boy, what a wonderful start to the day, you smirk to yourself. You sit down and start eating while staring out the window. Life was going well so far, but you had no one to enjoy it with. Maybe you could become friends with your neighbors, or at least know their names. Maybe today you should confront them again, but more properly. You push your plate away you push your plate away after finishing and run upstairs. What should I wear? How about a dark brown sweater and denim pants? Yeah, there's no need to get all dressed up. They would think you're weird. You put on your sweater and pants and put on your black boots. Boy, were you excited and nervous to meet them again. They probably didn't like you, but you had to try and make them like you. They lived next to you after all. You ran out the door and slipped. Ow! You screamed as you landed right on your ass. Haha, you should watch where you're going, someone said in a slight snicker. They sounded familiar. You turned to see Tord from yesterday. He's lending a hand to you so you can get up without falling again. You grasp onto his hand and pull yourself up. Thanks, you said, wiping off the snow from your chest. It snowed a bit last night. He put his hands back in his pockets, shrugged, and said, You're welcome. Then he walked past you. You stared at him for a bit, but then head back to the house left to you. Knock, knock. Who's there? Someone called at the other side of the door. It's me, the new neighbor, the one that gave you cookies yesterday. It's me, the new neighbors who gave you cookies yesterday. Who? Huh? No, this isn't a knock-knock joke. I'm just trying to talk with you and become friends. You sighed. Soon enough, the green one slammed open the door. Haha, nice knock-knock joke. He laughed and patted your shoulder. You flinched at the contact and stepped back. He notices and puts his hands up and said, Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. You laughed and said, No, it's fine. I'm just not used to people touching me. My name's Ed. What's yours? Wow, he was actually trying to talk today. Yesterday it seemed like he couldn't speak English or communicate well. My name is... Nice to meet you. Who's at the door? That orange-haired guy yelled, peeking at the doorway. Ooh, it's the cookie girl. They squealed, running up and looking at you. expecting you to hand him cookies. Oh, you liked those? Well, sorry, I don't have any right now, you said, scratching the back of your neck. Aww, he said, with the sad puppy eyes. Hey, Matt, look, this is our new neighbor, Ed said. Matt looked back up and observed you. Oh, hello, I'm Matt, he said, putting his hand out. You shook it and kept putting on that weird smile. Well, now what? You've greeted them properly. Oh, you came up with an idea. So, do you guys maybe want to hang out? You asked. They looked a bit surprised, but not in a bad way. Oh, that'd be great. But we're going somewhere today. Maybe tomorrow? Ed said, shrugging. You nodded quickly and replied, Sounds coolio. See you tomorrow. Bye, you said, running away to your next house. Running away to the next house. Yay, good job. Now to meet that weird, mean guy that lives next to Ed. Maybe he'll be nice today, like how Ed changed into a talkable person today. You knock on the door enthusiastically and wait for a response. After a few moments, he opens the door. Ah, you again. You got any cookies? He asked. You shook your head, but before you can explain, he slammed the door closed. Well, at least you tried to be a friend with him. A friend to him. You sigh and start walking home, but decide it's too early to go back. It's best if you went somewhere to explore. Like, maybe that little diner place nearby. You go back home to get your wallet and such and head there. After a while, you finally reached the diner and walked in. You really enjoyed diners like these because they always had milkshakes and burgers. It was a comfortable place, and it reminded you of home somehow. You take a seat, and not soon after, you notice Tord sitting nearby. Deciding whether or not you should go talk to him, you chose not to. You've been acting a bit desperate for friends lately, so it's time to have a break and just enjoy your apple pie milkshake. You take your phone out and start texting your old friends about how you've been. It's likely they won't respond right away, so you put it back in your pocket once you send the text. Oh, hello there. Didn't expect to be seeing you here, he said with that accent. You liked to hear him talk. His voice was soothing. Well, I got hungry, you said. He forced a laugh and sat down next to you. He didn't seem to be as strange as the other neighbors. You liked him. That's an apple pie milkshake, he said, pointing at your drink. Yeah, I would get these all the time at Johnny Rockets. These are great. I love the chunks of pie crust and apples in it. How could you tell what it was? You can easily tell by looking inside the cup. And I get those all the time, he said, tapping the glass while smiling. Really? You like these too? Yes, well, it isn't that much of a surprise since everyone likes apple pie and milkshakes. They go well together, no? That's true. So, what are you doing here? I got bored, and not to mention hungry. I don't see how that's shocking since we both live near this place. Yeah, sorry, I just wanted something to talk about, Keep the convo flowing. You finally finish your milkshake and pay for it, and walk towards the door. Hey, wait, he said, reaching out to you. You turn around to see what he has to say. He looked down at the ground and said, Do you maybe want to hang out? I mean, since we're neighbors and all. You smiled and nodded. Sure, you said, wrapping your hands behind your back. He chuckles and hops off his seat and walks to you. He stops when he is by your side and opens the door for you two to leave. As usual, he puts his hands back in his pockets and looks around. So, what do you want to do? He asks, staring at you for a response. Well, it's a bit early, so not everything is open yet. Do you wanna maybe hang out at your house? My house? Why my house? Because mine's a bit of a mess. I just moved in and all. There's a bunch of boxes laying around in the backyard. I haven't got in cable yet, and I have no Wi-Fi. Alright. We can go to my place, but give me a few minutes to tidy things up a bit, okay? Good with me, you said, stopping at the front of his house. He lets out a weak, forced laugh and heads in quickly. You balance yourself and lean back and forth in place. Then you begin to whistle and observe the neighborhood. Ed wasn't home. Guess he wasn't lying. The house was dark and empty, and the car wasn't in the driveway. 15 minutes later. By now you were sitting crisscross applesauce on the sidewalk, scrolling through Instagram and shitposting on your fan account. Alright, all done. You can come in now, Tord said, waving at you from the doorway. He seemed breathless and tired. Okie dokie, you said, skipping towards his door. He stepped aside to let you in, then closed the door after you entered. Looking around, you saw a big flat-screen TV and a big sofa. The walls were yellow and the carpet was red. There was a doorway and 2 doors. What a nice house. It was definitely better than yours. Your house was plain, and it didn't even have a TV yet. It just had an armchair and a small table by the window. Anywho, you sat down on the couch and kept observing his place. He didn't bother sitting down. He stood where he was and watched you look around. Nice place, am I right? He asked. You nodded and sank into the couch. Wowza. It was pretty comfy. Yeah, it's actually pretty great. My place is bland and plain. I barely have anything. You sighed. He then walked to the couch and sat beside you. Well, that's understandable since you just moved in. You've got plenty of time to add more to your house, so don't worry about that, he said. Hey, do you like horror movies? He asked. You nodded fiercely. Horror movies were the best. The suspension and jump scares were what made your heart pound. Were what made your heart pound. And you loved that. Hell yeah, you yelled. After a split second, you noticed you were a bit too loud and covered your mouth in embarrassment. No need to be embarrassed. It's okay to be loud, he laughed, reaching for a movie called The Insane Zombie Pirates from Hell. It was rated R, but then you remembered you were over 18, so it doesn't matter anymore. Boy, oh boy, this was exciting. Your parents never let you watch rated R movies before. Not only that, but you were watching it with a friend, alone in their house to watch a horror movie. You were so pumped you were practically trembling with excitement. Are you okay? He asked, walking behind the couch. Oh, yeah. I'm just really excited is all, you said, controlling yourself. Oh, well, I'm going to make popcorn. Don't go anywhere, he said, walking to the kitchen. You sink further into the couch and look down at what was under the television and saw some magazines with, "Oh my god." He started laughing and looked through them as a joke. After a while, he enters the room with a big bowl of hot, steaming popcorn. "Here we go. Oh, God, no, don't look at that," he yelled, snatching it out of your hands. You looked up at him and laughed harder. He looked flustered and his face was red. He put them all under his arm and went into another room. Wow, he didn't look like the type to look at hentai. After a few minutes, he came back and set the popcorn on the table. "You know you shouldn't go through people's stuff without permission, especially with those kinds of things," he stuttered. You shrugged and reached into the bowl and ate some popcorn. I mean, it's not bad to have porn magazines in your house. You're human after all. It'd be bad if I walked in on you fat. Don't take it so lightly. It is weird to have guests come over and look at porn magazines. To be honest, I've kind of done it before. You said. He looked at you with shock. "What? Really? Boy, you are so weird," you said. "Well, we didn't masturbate together." You laughed. He shook his head to shake away the thoughts that had popped into his head when you said that. He tried to forget about it and put the CD into the VCR. It went straight to the movie menu and toward pressed play. Some time later. "What? That's it? That's where it ends? No way. It can't end like that," you yelled, pointing at the TV accusingly. "You know, that's what I thought when I first saw it. A good thing there'll be another movie, and then we'll find out exactly what happened at the end," he said. "Man, those are some good movies. I can't believe we watched all 5 of them," he laughed. Boom! "Ah!" You scream, jumping and hiding into a sweater. He pat your back and kept his arm around you and said, "Hey, don't worry, it's just a storm," he said reassuringly. You chuckled lightly and gave him a little more space. "Oh," you said nervously. "Ever since you were a child, you've been scared of storms and such. Now you didn't have Mom to make you feel better about the loud thunder. You lived on your own now, so you have to take care of yourself." While you were thinking about these things, you didn't realize you were back to hiding in his red, soft sweater. He laughed and patted you again. Then he got up and opened the windows to see how bad it was. You didn't want to see it yourself, so you waited for his response to the weather. You saw his jaw drop, and he turned to you. "Wow, it's really pouring out there. Maybe you should stay until the rain goes away," he said with a different tone when he said you should stay. You wrapped your arms around your legs and sighed. "No, it's okay. I literally live next door," you said, putting on your boots. He shrugged and said, "Okay." When you opened the door, all there was to see was an ocean of water about to enter the house, and loud, threatening lightning striking houses and trees. You quickly closed the door and take a deep breath. If you even took a step, it'd take you away and drown you. Also, the loud noises and heavy amount of rain was intimidating, so even if there wasn't a flood, you'd have been too scared to go outside. Well, I suppose I could stay the night, you said, traumatized by what you saw. He noticed how you were uncomfortable by staying over for the night, so he ran into a room. You looked in confusion to see him coming back with a rain jacket. What are you... Before you could finish, he grabbed you and burst through the door. Outside, the wind was blowing so hard it almost blew you and tore it away. But he stood his place and tore through the water. It pushed and shoved him, and you screamed because you didn't want to touch the water. It was nighttime, so you wouldn't be able to tell if there was any weird fish or sharp objects underneath. He carried you on his shoulders and ran past the obstacles that swam away as he pushed them. You held on tight to his head and closed your eyes. What the hell is he doing? You thought to yourself. What inspired him to suddenly pick you up and drag you to your house through the rain? Eventually, you two reached the house, and he placed you carefully on your doorstep. Oh, thanks, Tord, you said in a shaky voice. He shrugged and scratched the back of his neck. It's no big deal, really, he said in a nervous voice. So, do you maybe want to come inside? You're soaking wet. You might catch a cold. You said. He shook his head and replied, No, I'm fine. I'll be heading home now. Good night. You smiled and waved as you closed the door slowly. After a while, you leaned against the door and fell to the floor. You were about to fall asleep right then and there when you heard a loud banging on the door. Not only that, but there was someone screaming. Did Tord get scared by the rain and change his mind about staying overnight? Well, just in case you asked, Who's there? You called out. Orange, someone shouted over the other one who was screaming for you to let them in. What the hell was going on? What? Your name is Orange? Do I know you? No, you ruined it. You were supposed to say Orange who? One of them said. Shut up, Ed. This isn't the time for knock-knock jokes. Listen, it's us, your neighbors, another called out, banging on the door. You took a deep breath and opened the door. As soon as you opened it, the red-haired man jumped at you and scrambled onto the and scrambled around on the floor, trying to hide. The green hooded one ran inside, getting mud everywhere, while the one with black eyes looked at you plainly and waited for you to invite him in. Come in, I guess, you said, standing aside to let him pass through. He walked past and sat on the one armchair you had. So I'm guessing you want to know why we've intruded so rudely, huh? The black-eyed one said before he took out a flask and drank from it. You shrugged and stood awkwardly by the door. Well, when we came back from our little fishing trip, it turned out we had lost our keys. So we would have just tried to find them, but the storm was so strong that we were afraid we'd get hurt. So would it be okay if we stayed over? He asked in a monotone voice. I did not do a monotone voice for that. Oh, well. Oh, this would be perfect for bonding. Sure, you said in a happy tone. Let me just get something real quick. You added, running toward the kitchen. Okay, the black-eyed guy says, crossing his legs and continuously drinking from his flask. Once you got inside the kitchen, you went through the food cabinets. After all, what's a sleepover without food? Alright, that is the end of that chapter. I might make another chapter soon with the, next whatever. Or I might make one with a new book that I just found that I absolutely love, so I kind of want to read it. But we'll see. Anyway, have a good day, my Wolfie Gang. And see you next time. Be sure to subscribe and like and comment down below if you have any stories that you want me to read. Bye-bye now.